Alright, welcome to Landslide News. From here, we give you insight into all that happens. Welcome. We are in the Christmas mood. Kafo is wearing his beautiful face cap.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're in the Christmas mood too. Because I didn't come to work early today. Alright, Philip, how you doing?
Doing great, man.
Okay, all right. You see, things that come good most of the time don't take most controversies for them to come the way they should or to come. This tax law has been controversial from the beginning, and somewhere, somehow, they've been forcing it, shoving it down our throats by the executive. Now, there's some issues with the tax law. The federal government said implementation starts in January. But the NBA, Afenifere, and a lot of other groups are saying, why don't we tread with caution? So that, because I know the last time you said the issue of subsidy is gone, what it costs, we are still reaping the fruit of it till today. Let this tax not be like that. Okafor, should the president heed this call from these people?
As it is now, it's going to be difficult, very, very difficult to start off that tax administration by January 1st. Afenifere presented three fronts, essentially. Number one, the issue of alteration to the tax law itself, the gazetted one, which the presidency, not even in a clear terms, are trying to misinform people that is not what it is. The FIR's boss was saying that how could people be saying that what is gazetted is different from what was passed, whereas the committee that has been established to look into the difference has not even sat. Is that a defense to say, oh, what is gazetted is different or not? You have not come to say, okay, what is gazetted is exactly what the National Assembly passed. Make that statement yourself, since you are speaking for point of authority as FIR's boss. Tell the people that what is gazetted is exactly what the National Assembly passed. That will stand as a firm denier. Not that the committee constituted have not sat. How did you arrive at this? Those are things that is getting. Maybe they think Nigerians are idiots. Maybe with time they will get to know. There's a limit to anything. Number two, Afenifere said, you cannot have a foreign entity administer our tax. That is a sell-off of sovereignty. That is a sell-off of our economic sovereignty. Tax detail is very, very detailed about operations of an economy. Most Western nations do not have oil. Most European countries, they do not have oil. They do not have the kind of natural resource we have. They run essentially on their tax system administration. So that is the sovereignty, the economic sovereignty of a nation. You can't have a foreign entity from France run it, especially when it has been proven that other African countries that have related with France have ended up in poverty and crisis. Look at all the Francophone nations of Africa. Where are they today compared to Nigeria? What is France doing in Nigeria? That's two. The third one itself is about the people. People are poor. Is it the right time to tax the people the more? It's like standing inside a bucket and trying to lift yourself up. You are going nowhere. You can't tax yourself out of poverty. You can only tax output. What the government needs to do is to stimulate productivity. Ensure that Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution as amended is held sacrosanct, where it is stated that the welfare of the people and the security of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Let there be security. Let the people go to farm so that we can feed ourselves. Let our children be able to go to school. Let there be, movement of goods from one place to the other without fear of being kidnapped. Also, now come into stimulating sectors that people cannot produce. You will not tax the output. You can't tax poverty out of yourself and think you are going to become rich, because when people are poor, you tax, you are going to make them poorer. And let me tell you, for the little fraction of the rich you think they are there, they are the owners of supermarket, they are the owners of this, they will pass the tax incidents, will eventually pass down to the poor people. Let me tell you, the fourth one, which they didn't talk about, Afenifere didn't talk about, but it's very general. The people do not trust the government. You said you're going to do subsidy. What is the result today? It is not right. It's not working. Clearly not working. You floated the naira. What is happening? It is not working. So is it the tax administration that people are going to trust you? No, the people just don't trust you. Everything is not working out for them. NBA has also highlighted the issue of institutional trust, because your policy is going to affect investors. It's going to affect how you relate to people that have capital mobility, how investors decide whether they will continue to produce in Nigeria or invest their money elsewhere. They are also going to check how volatile is this nation in terms of stability. Investors want stability. If you now go ahead, what about rule of law? There is a clamor that the tax pass is not what is out there. NBA is saying that this is not the time to just jump the gun. Hold on, let the investigation come out and say, okay, this is what it is and this is what is not. There's nothing so urgent about this tax administration.
Okay, all right, Philip, you hear all the four cardinal points that he enumerated. Now, the presidency in its drive doesn't look to be a people's administration that they listen. At a point, we thought they were listening maybe like 10%, but especially this tax law as it concerns the citizenry right now. We've talked about the cascade of this, the effect of this tax. If you say you're going to tax these people downward, there's a problem there. Then I also see another division between the FROS and the special advisor to the president on this tax reform. That's Mr. Ayodele. Sometimes we don't know who is driving it. Is it coming out from the FROS or is coming out from the presidency through Mr. Ayodele?
This is the lead government who have seen that we don't know who is in charge of any particular institution or policy. We just see a policy emanating from presidency, and anybody can lay claim to it. When you speak about this tax reform and the clamor for it to be suspended from being effected from January 1st, you see the line of argument churned out by the Nigerian Bar Association. They are talking about mainly on institutional failure, and they zero it on the National Assembly, which is saddled with responsibility of legislation, and that if we're in democratic society, legislation should have passed a procedural process. And if those procedural processes are faulty, and then they should look for those who are responsible for it, and punishment should be meted on them, especially as it affects this tax reform. Because the issue here is that what that was passed at the National Assembly as raised by Rep. Dasuki was not what is gazetted. And this is a serious issue. It's a constitutional breach which could amount to impeachment of Mr. President. And a committee has been set up. The Afenifere and the NBA are saying that, look, it is not only the National Assembly committee that will be set up. External auditors should be brought in so that they should work together and to ascertain where the controversy is emanating from, and those who are found wanting, either in the National Assembly or in the presidency, to be punished. But I see that they are being be careful with that. When it's not the president, the box end at the president's table. If this law is found that it was altered from what was passed by the legislature, you see, it means that the National Assembly has been reduced to nothing, and the only way they could redeem themselves is to impeach Mr. President, because it's an impeachable offense. It's a constitutional breach, because you are taking away the work of the National Assembly to the presidency, and you are doing it yourself. Why do you have to present the law to the National Assembly in the first place if you can, make the law and effect it yourself? Why send it to the National Assembly? So these are the controversies that are there. The issue of Afenifere, they are very germane. They said, look, this is not the right time. Even if the law was even passed and gazetted as it were, as the time we are now, the current economic situation, the reality on ground, this is not the time to tax the people. Like I said, what are you taxing? Is it the poverty you are taxing? You're talking about that, people who are going to earn below 800,000 annually are not going to be taxed, whereas they are the people you are taxing. Because who is the end user of the product of the big company you are taxing? Is these people who are going to earn below 800,000, and the bulk of the tax will be shifted to them. So in other words, you are still ending up punishing the poor masses who cannot survive. That is why everybody said that look towards social. That's why they say look towards social welfareism. educational system, the health system, and economic infrastructure to develop the economy so that the economy could be buoyant. Once the economy is buoyant, you can now tax the people and you can get the result you are looking for. But if you go this way you are going, I'm afraid, it's in this Africa that not too long ago in Kenya, a tax law like this caused a lot of uproar and a lot of people lost their life and property destroyed.
And the government withdrew the tax.
I don't think we have to go through that round before we now listen to a voice of reasoning. I think this is the time that Mr. President should listen to those who are saying, look, if this is what is obtainable at the moment, suspend your action and rethink at how you can go about this task. Like he rightly pointed out, you've just done enough subsidy removal. We haven't seen the result. Rather, what we are seeing is pain and hardship. You floated the naira. We haven't seen the result. What we are seeing is pain and hardship. Why would you want to introduce a third effect in just your third year in office? I think Mr. President should have to listen.
All right, let me dwell on the fourth point you made, that the people don't trust this government. Now, we are in a festive mood right now, where people are saying the year has been difficult. Let us see. We are a communal-based nation.
You can't Africa. You can't take it. You don't just give somebody good money and walk away. No. Somebody sang with it at a time. In Africa, you don't just say good money and walk away. No. You say hi your papa, hi your mama, your sister, uncle. That's Africa. That's how we live our life.
The Kogi people will say, I mean, they'll be going there. But that being said, people trying to assess their villages, a lot of palpitations, insecurity, number one. But they went into the sea or the lake full of crocodile infested trying to cross over to the other side because they don't have any other option. Which one is the lake now? People trying to cross from Abuja, for example, to the east or the southwest or whichever way. The roads are bad. This tax or this subsidy that have been removed, or the floating of the naira, or all this economic stuff that they have done, why does it not translate into development of this?
You see, the president, I don't know, sincerely, I don't know why somebody that spent so long a time preparing to be president would not do really like very well. Do you know, after the announcement of the election 2023, where some people felt, well, there was much to talk about the Asiwaju winning that election or not, people said go to court. But one thing, people felt Asiwaju was going to hit the ground running like he claimed, that a performance in 1 year will make people to say, okay, let's forget it, let's just go ahead. Our typical Nigerians is, after all, the end product of what we wanted was performance. But it does not justify that when you steal my car and maintain the car very well, that I should leave it for you. But let's leave that for another day. You say you remove subsidy. Why not go with the way China developed the economy, with what is called sampling method? For any policy, for anything they want to do, they don't do it on a large scale at once. They pick a demography, they pick a market sample, they pick a size, they pick a geography, and first of all apply it there at that micro level, then expand it, they begin to interconnect it so that they can observe failures at a variational level, at incremental level. They are observing the outcome, they are observing all the indices, they are observing how the added increment interacts with the existing one. Before you know, it will be all over the nation. Just like we're doing cashless policy, we're taking it bit by bit. Now you remove subsidy, the entire economy is struck. At the same time, you floated the naira, that's the dollar that we don't have. We don't produce, we're not earning enough of forex to get what we buy, because we buy just about everything. That was a wrong economics, and you can see the result. Now, the money you got, instead of put it into these internal roads, like you're saying, things that can help the people to perform better, insecurity. You started something like Calabar East-West Road that will not contribute to people today. If I tell you to go on 50 days fasting so that you can eat the best alakata in 20 years to come, will you accept it?
Well, we die before the...
You will die before that. So, in any solution, there must be short-term benefit and there must be a longer one. What are you doing from Lagos to Calabar? People in Lagos, were they not going to Calabar before? The roads they were using to go to Calabar, is it in good order? Let me use road for example. Do you know that Nigeria internal roads, as they are, without building a new one, if they are well maintained, people can still move effectively. What we needed was a rail system, fast rail system, maintain all the internal roads and leave roads alone. Have internal rail system, both the one that will carry luggages, that can the kind of heavy way for trading, in dedicated tracks for those trading, carrying goods. The other one for passengers. Those are the long-term things you'll be doing, while clearly maintaining the internal roads that you have. Do not go into what looks like elephant project in nature. People, that is where the distrust starts to build. The ones you have done, what have you done with it? So how will people now trust you that they are going to tax the little money their uncle sent to them? Let me tell you, most of the cash flow they are seeing in Nigerian banks, one big man is sending money to nothing less than 100 people every month.
That's too small.
That's too small. Every month. So if you not tax the big man, he will draw the little one he's giving to the poor. The poor will go to the street. I just pray as you understand this thing, because there's a limit. Nigerians are docile, they are docile. That is when they can still eat and remain docile. If it gets so bad, it could be terrible. And let's not get to that point.
Okay, let's come to the legislature, because they are the one that took this law after it was gotten to took it back to the presidency and it was gazetted. Now, one of members of the House of Rep member came up and said, no, going forth and back, this is not what we put out there. But we have not seen a strong-worded National Assembly that is supposed to be the people's representative say this thing is not right.
You know, if you look at the statement of the Afenifere, there's a language they use, they call it the plebiscite, or what do they call it? I can't remember the exact word. They're saying that the job for the boys to feed. You know, that, make reference to what he was describing like an elephant project, instead of going to the real project that will make meaning to Nigeria. You're talking about this National Assembly. This is the first time we have a National Assembly that do not have voice. We're even lucky enough to have Rep Dasuki and one other person who had come to support it to say, no, this is not what passed through us in this. We have 360 members in the House of Rep and we have 109 members in the Senate. Nobody up until Rep Dasuki raised his voice was able to challenge that this is not what passed through us. So that tells you the kind of National Assembly we have. Is when you say Nigerians are docile, the National Assembly is multiple docile. This 10th National Assembly. So you don't expect anything from them. But again, if Mr. President thinks he has a docile National Assembly, therefore he can do and undo, like he rightly pointed out in his analysis, where the little suko was coming from for these people to be docile. If you take it from there, the docility will also be taken away from them, and the resultant will not be too palatable for the Mr. President and the entire nation. So we pray that Mr. President will listen and suspend the implementation of this tax reform by January 1st. And again, the Afenifere raised a very serious issue. They said, look, how can you give our tax, you outsource a foreign expert or consultant to at this time that we are so poor? What we need more now is local content, and we have tax experts in Nigeria, like in the legal profession, even those who can develop app that can use to go ahead with this. And you don't see any of those. You go to France, although he had mentioned it earlier, and that what are you doing? You are toying with our economic data that you will give undue advantage to these people you are giving our information to. All this point, I think, with all of this that is happening, I think Mr. President had to record that tax law and also record its implementation and allow the committee being set up to do their work, so that there should not be interference. We know that this is the only government who said you can say what you want to say. I will do what I will do. You didn't vote for me.
But quickly, I want to put you on point.
Yes.
The people are the government. What is their position? What should they do? Like you said, should they continue praying?
You see, they may feel that the people will continue to pray. When it happened in Kenya, the people, Kenya, Africa are all the same. If you have ever been to Kenya, you have a friend from Kenya, you know that the way they follow religion, It's not different from Nigeria, but it got a point that religion could not hold them back. So there's always a breaking point for every man. So if Mr. President think that the people will continue to pray and then you placate them with fasting and prayer and miracle, word creation, preaching and all the rest of the, those kind of gospel, it will get to a breaking point where a man that's ever hungry, when the man says miracle is coming tomorrow, every day miracle come, it doesn't come. You have to look for something to eat. So it will get to that point.
The people.
Yeah, the administration of tax in Nigeria has to be predicated on a law known and accepted. FRS, which law are they going to use to collect that tax now? The gazetted one? Is it the same with the one passed? Are they sure? Can they tell us that it's the same? Nobody has come out and said it is the same. Look at this, it's the same. So if you take anybody, I foresee court cases from the elite, and for those who can go to the street, you never can be too sure, because you can't administer in a law against me with a forged provision. It's not acceptable. Nobody will submit himself to a forged law. Nobody. So that one must be put out of the way. They will now begin to come issue of morality and conscience, whether it's the right time to impoverish the people. First of all, legality of it. Nobody will submit himself under a forged law. No. And let me tell you one thing you don't know. If you bring a forged document to collect tax and they go to court, the person can take cases against you, against FRS, against the individuals involved. And let me tell you, Tinubu will not be there forever, and they may end up procuring jail term if care is not taken. Because if you pick a forged document,
yes,
if you pick it and use it, knowingly use it, many cases can be opened against you, both individually as an institution. So a lot can come out of that. They have to first of all settle the legality. They will not put it out of the way. 2, is it the right time? 3, the foreign people, should they be the one collecting tax? But the legality of it should be put out of the way. So the time I put it out of the way, there is no tax collection.
The people,
yes,
what should they do?
That's what I'm telling you. For those elites, they are going to take it legally. For the other ones,
elite seems to be consumed and compromised.
Well, that's what you think until you hit. Let me tell you, he said something. Everybody has a breaking point. Any material has what we call elastic limit. No matter how resilient you are, no matter how ductile a material is, it still has elastic limit, a point where it will break. And let's just pray that this tax law is not that point where the elite will break, move their money away, move their investment away. And the little industry, the little ones we have, take it away, sell off their hotels at a cheap rate, go to vacation. Let me tell you, I not to take more of your time, I used to say I give Dangote credit a lot. Do you know why? Dangote can sell off all his assets and put it in the bank and never go hungry. But for the fact he wants to be in industry, he wants people to be employed, he wants drivers to be employed. So when we see those, we have to also manage the big. I
want to spend my time a little bit. Yeah. I want you to advise the federal government.
Well, I've said it.
You said it, but I want you to reiterate it. You said something, I want you to reiterate.
Yeah.
You said most of the time, look for a particular demography, and experiment what you do, whatever it is.
You don't, let me tell you, nobody will have adage in my place that you don't test the depth of a river with 2 of your legs.
You sink.
You sink.
Okay, Okafor said, don't do it, you will sink. We will be right back.